Got it.
Cool? Cool. All right, man.
Yeah.
So today, we get to talk to Gilbert Castillo, the one and only, the freshly retired, freshly beard grown sailor out of the Navy, Chief Petty Officer. How you doing today,
Yes.
buddy?
Doing pretty good. Pretty good.
Awesome, man. So let's start with the obvious question of the day. How's retirement?
Time is doing. I'm doing pretty good. Uh, just got out for a little bit over or less than a month. Just taking care of stuff at the house. Starting working out again because I had a few surgeries not too long ago. So just trying to get back on it.
Nice. So when you say that you're doing stuff at home, I do remember the other day talking to you, and the garage door fell on you. How was that?
Yeah, I had to fix that. So I had to YouTube it because I've never done it before. So I
Look, man,
YouTubed it.
YouTube is where
And
you find all the answers.
it
Yeah, for
was
sure.
because I had no idea how to get the spring just undid itself. The chain links to pick up the door they messed up, so I had to do the whole thing over. Took me a few hours, but I got it done. It works now.
That might be your next job.
What is that?
You know, garage door repairman.
Oh hell no!
That's no joke, man. To do a garage door, I've seen some people do that spring thing. That thing's dangerous, dude.
Yeah, it's hard, and then I
Super,
got a
super
messed up
dangerous.
shoulder, so that didn't help. But I got it done.
See, glutton for punishment, man. You just wanted to go. You just wanted to go work it out.
Yeah.
So, tell everybody that's listening today. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us what you like to do. Tell us the kind of things that you're into, so that we can get to know you a little bit better.
So, I joined the Navy when I was 17, turned 18 in boot camp. I did 20 years in the Navy. I got married 8 years ago. I have a daughter and a son with my wife. We live here in Humble, Texas. And what I like to do is like watching the Astros play, and that's like 6 months out of the year.
Ah,
And then do home projects.
I'm not
I
very
like
happy
just
with you, by the way,
why is that?
because I'm a Red Sox fan, dude.
Oh, Red Sox are garbage,
Well, you say that
as
now.
you can see. As you can see,
Yeah, I know. But after game 2 and 3, you guys were shaking in your boots. Let's not
a
lie
little
here.
bit. Those three grand slams got us a little worried,
It got me
but
too excited, and then they started.
then they scored. Astros scored 22. The Red Sox scored one. The last three games.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
ridiculous.
Rub it in. It's all good. That's okay. Next
And
year,
then,
we weren't even supposed to be here this year. You guys were.
oh, whatever.
We weren't. It's a rebuilding year. Our
It's
manager
Red
was
Sox. You,
suspended
you
for a
can't
year.
rebuild when you spend 200 million. That's not a rebuild.
I don't know. We lost some pretty good players.
It's still 200 million on your payroll. That's not a rebuild.
Well, the Astros are not going to be very good here soon if they don't want to pony the money up and give it to Carlos Correa.
I
I know
know.
you saw the TV. David Ortiz shook the case of money out on the
Oh
table,
yeah,
said, "Pay the man."
he threw all the money on the table. Pay the
Yeah.
guy. And then there's some memes out there. We should sell the Texans to pay Correa.
Yeah, well, they wouldn't pay Springer. He left.
No,
You think
for
they're going to pay
150.
Correa? Nope.
I think if we win the World Series, they will.
Um,
I think so.
how many times do you have to win the World Series to pay the guy that brought you to the ALCS 5 years in a row?
Just one more time.
Just one more time. Just this one more time. I've heard
One
that
more
before.
time.
Just do this one more time, and I promise it's the last time and it'll be done. And then,
Yeah, we just need this one more World Series, and he's gonna stay. They're gonna give him 8 years, and he'll be happy.
oh
He
yeah,
just
for
wants a
sure.
10-year contract. He wants long-term contract. That's the
Yeah,
issue.
but do you think that long-term contracts are good? I mean, 10 years, dude. Like he's been in the league for a little bit. Like
He's
I don't
like
know, the last few people that signed
25,
10-year contracts.
but he's 25. He's never been
Okay,
hurt. He's
how old was Albert Pujols when he signed his 10-year contract?
30.
Was he?
Yeah. So
I
this is a big
forgot.
difference.
I'm talking to a guy that just looks at Yahoo Sports 24 hours a day.
Exactly. So this is a
I
big
got you.
difference. This is 35, and he'll still have an extra 5 years after this.
Okay, so
So
then
we'll see.
when you pay Correa, what are you going to do about Bregman? What are you going to do about
They already
Altuve?
paid
What are
them.
you?
They already paid them.
They
They're
already
good for
paid him.
another. They're good for another few years. Bergman signed it last year for 5, so we still got 4 years with him. Tuba still has like 2 years left on his contract, and he'll stay. The one that I'm afraid of that might leave is freaking Jordan. That dude's a monster.
Alvarez?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's I'm pretty sure he's gonna be asking for 300 plus whenever his time is up here.
How did it become where baseball players make $300 million to swing a bat? It's crazy. I wish I could
I don't
make that
know.
much money to serve my country. That would have been cool, but
Yeah, you should go to Congress. They pay 2 years and get paid for
no
the rest of
way,
your life.
dude. Why would I do that? That no.
That's 175K just to do 2 years. You
So
get paid
what?
that for the rest of your life.
No, that's awesome. That's great. But the 2 years that you're going to be there, I don't know, man. To do something like that would be, it would be cool, actually. That would be a good thing to do. I think that it would be interesting, but I don't think that I would want to. I don't think I'd want to deal with it for 2 years. I
Well, I
just
don't
don't.
think it should be 2 years. I think it should be like more like 10 years.
Well, I
Then
mean,
you get retirement.
the
That's
stress,
just me.
the stress that would come with that, man. Like you have a huge responsibility. There's a lot that needs to be looked at to be done, and I don't know. I just don't have the. I don't have the bandwidth for that. I don't think, but it would be
Mm.
cool to get that much money for the rest of your life. But
Yeah, yeah.
you're gonna spend 10 times that to campaign to just to get in there.
Well, you're not going to spend it. Other people are going to spend it on you.
I don't know enough people that have money to help me spend that. Are you gonna donate?
I'll donate 20.
$20. See, I'm losing already. I'm losing.
You got to be like Bernie. He just wants $10 from everybody.
Yeah. Well, Bernie Sanders has the money to back up that $10 from everybody.
And he didn't even win.
Oh well. There's always next time. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about so in the Navy, I know you did recruiting for a long time, just like I did. Did you start in sunny South Florida or did you start somewhere else before that?
No. I started in Kings Bay, Georgia. I was in
Okay.
subs. I was in a Trident submarine. Um, and it's crazy because on nuclear power, nuclear missiles, of course, the United States number one, the China's number two, Russia's number three, and then one of our Trident submarines is number four in the world,
Oh, really? And that's the one you were on?
and that's the one I was on.
Oh, that's cool,
That's
man.
that's how much nuclear power we have on one submarine. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. So
Hopefully, we never have to use it.
what about recruiting? Did you was Miami your first recruiting gig, or did you
No,
recruit
it was
somewhere before
Houston.
that? Oh, it was.
Houston, when you were here, weren't you here in 2007, 2010,
Nope.
or 2006, 2010? No.
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't. I was in Dallas then.
Oh, that's close enough.
It is close enough. It's just right up the road. No big deal. 4 hours away.
Yeah, so I went to Houston first.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to Little Creek Base. I was working with Navy SEALs and divers. I was a tech there. Then I went to Miami, recruited there, and that's when I converted to full-time recruiter. And then I came
Okay.
here and retired here in
Nice.
Houston.
There you go. That's cool. So you said you worked a lot with like the spec war guys, and you did the recruiting gigs. So how was your experience in recruiting? How do you feel? How do you feel it went for you? Everybody has a different opinion, right?
So the first time coming here to Houston, it went horrible. I never wanted to recruit again. I just didn't have a good time here. Um, just not a good time at all. But once I went to Miami, recruiting there was awesome. It
I
was
agree. I
very
agree.
very nice. I
I
mean,
liked
when you
Miami.
do training and you're in South Beach and you're in a restaurant outside and the beach is right next to you, it was nice. It was a different scenery. It was beautiful over there. Um, just living over there was very expensive. I don't see myself living over there unless I become a millionaire. because it is expensive.
You're on your
But
way. You're on your way, dude. You put your first garage door up.
oh, I just got another a million to go.
Well, that one you did for free because you didn't pay yourself. But now
Yeah,
you have experience. Like I've done it once, I
I
could do it
do,
again.
and it's not that hard. After I did it
No.
that first time, it's not that hard.
Yeah, you just got to be careful, man.
Yes,
Those
because if you
springs,
you
when
let
they,
go one of those things, then
yeah,
and whatever you're using, it hits you. Oh, that's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt a
yeah,
lot.
a little bit for sure.
Oh no, it's gonna be a lot. And then you're standing on a ladder, so then you're gonna get hit. Then you're gonna fall backwards. So yeah, this is not something I want to do again. Hopefully.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do it either. I wouldn't want to do it either. So let's go fast forward to Houston. So this is your last stop in the Navy in recruiting. You and I were here for quite a while together.
Hmm.
So how do you feel about, and you were there a little bit after I was, obviously about a month you've been out, right? So how do you feel the differences between how recruiting used to be and how it is now, right? When we were in for a while, like we were the one-stop shop, right? We talked to them and
Hmm.
did all that, and then now it's a little bit different, and I really don't know the difference, but what do you think of the change? And
So
by the way, before you answer that, I heard they're going back to the old way.
they already did. It's
Yeah,
already done. So they're already
crazy.
doing it the way. So they before, as you know, we talk to the person, we do all the paperwork with the person, we put them in the Navy, then we mentor the person all the way till they ship out. Then once I got to Houston, not shortly after, they switched it to three three different pillars. One person finds the person, the next person does all the paperwork, and then the following person will mentor them all the way till they leave. So we did that system here in Houston for 2.5 years, maybe. And just a few months ago, they went back to the original system.
So I know that system. I mean, everywhere was trying to do it, but like, what do you think? Do you think it's a good system?
I think overall is a good system, but for whatever reason, well, not for whatever reason, I think COVID took a big hit on us and it made that system fail.
Yeah, but I mean,
So,
there was a lot of places doing it before Houston did it without all of that, and I call without that. What do they call those?
but
Unforeseen circumstance.
they were just, there was, everything was new to all the NRDs, NTAGs before Houston. So they were figuring it out. Once we got to Houston and a few before us, we had a better idea how to manage it, and I think we did pretty well in the beginning. And we were making go, and then COVID hit, and then we were still making go, and then we stopped making go, and we still can't make go,
Well,
and
I
that's
think a
almost
lot of
across
that
the whole
has to
nation.
do that's not there's a lot of other factors into that we could talk about, but we
Hmm.
won't jump into those. But I think COVID was a big thing. People wanting to go here and there, and with all the restrictions and flights, and there's just a lot that goes into it. I just remember when they were going to change that model. I'm an old guy, right? I came
Hmm.
into recruiting a long time ago, and I was like, so one
Here we
person's
go.
going to meet you, they're going to tell you about all the great stuff the Navy can do. And then someone's going to do your paperwork, a completely different person. And then someone's going to make sure you get to boot camp. So the person that you initially forge that bond with, right? When you first meet somebody, you build that rapport. And like that person is what got you interested in it. Like, you're never going to talk to them again. Like, you're going to go talk to like four other people and wind up at the end. And at first I was like, I think
But
that's
you do
crazy.
talk to that person. You do still talk to that person.
I
When
see
you
that
go to
now.
debt meetings, when you go to the office for whatever reason, that person is still there. Doesn't
Sure.
mean you have to stop talking to them.
Yeah. What I
But yes, the
realized
other
though,
person is full control of what mentoring and everything that it got going on.
Yeah. What I realized though is the way that the Navy was going is kind of how the civilian world goes, right? So you
Hmm.
have the same kind of instance in a lot of the stuff that's done, So and on some of the things that I've done since retirement, There's a whole bunch of people on the team that are involved in doing it, and I see that in some cases that model is the same model that recruiting went to in the Navy, and they have the same exact challenge. And the biggest challenge that is communication and how the process is going to run or how it's going to flow and how it's going to manage. And so what happens is I think a lot of people feel like if I put 500 people on a team to get
Hmm.
this job done right, I've put a team in your corner and everything's going to go great. What I don't think people realize is once you do that, you now have 500 people doing something that have to communicate with each other to know what someone else is doing or not, right? And so what winds
Yeah.
up happening is four people are doing the same exact thing in something, and then that turns into whoever you're working for, working with, confused on what exactly they need to do. So I think a lot of people think that more people equals better performance, and I'm just on the opposite of that from where I came in before. Is less is more. Like if I know that we've got a group of three people that are going to do this one thing, the three of us can communicate that so well. But when you start to push those dynamics out, that's been the challenge for me since retirement, is understanding how that flow works, because I never had to do it. I think guys like you that are coming out now, well, not anymore, they went back to the old way. But the guys that had to do the newer way, I think you guys are a little better prepared to come out and engage into what's going on in the civilian world, because you understand that chaos of communication, right? Because there's so many different people doing so many different things, but the same thing, if that makes sense, right? It
Yeah.
makes sense in my head. I didn't deal with that. So I'm still that guy that's like, I want to know everything that's going on. And that's challenging for me, even now. It's the whole deal, right? We learned it a lot when we went through chief season. Trust the process,
Yeah.
right? Trust the process and trust your team, right?
I think it was an organization of all these people that they've never had to do this, and they just said, "Hey, this is how we're gonna start doing it," and just do it. So they're like, "Okay," and the organization and how they communicate it.
Mm-hmm.
Since they took it on, they're like, "Okay, well, all I gotta do is find this person. Once I find them later," I think they took that to heart, and they should have still been communicating with the person they put in, not on a daily basis, because the onboarder will be doing that, but they still could have communicated with the people that they're putting in. And as well, if they had more communication, all the three teams, the LPO would have been communicating with everybody and had a better idea of everything that's going on. Especially like if on an onboarder or a future sailor was not going to go to the Navy no more, he had a better idea if they all would have just communicated. Being organized and communicating with each other would have taken a long, long way.
Yeah, I think that but I think that's the problem, right? I don't know. A lot of the people that I've talked to, and again, I only relate to like talking about this because it kind of relates to what we're doing now, right? Like when you're
Hmm.
helping people do certain things and they have to get through like a pillared process, like buying a house or getting a loan or buying a car, even applying for a job, right? Like there's a step by step process that you go through. So when you're going through that process, there's a lot of things that have to happen. There's a lot of steps in that process. And I think that in today's world, just to what you're saying, we told this person that all you have to do is this, but what we really know is if you're in the sailors especially, this is all I need you to do. They're going to get it done.
Hmm.
Now, if you don't tell them there's an expectation of doing more than that, they're
And
going
I
to
think
get
that's where they
it
mess up.
done. Yeah.
Yeah. And
And they're
that's where they
not
messed
going to
up.
look at that. Yeah. Like I think
Because
they
they
could
were
have done a
told
better
just
job.
find somebody and that's all you got to do. And that shouldn't have been the way they implement these pillars. They still should have had communicating with each other. Granted, once they get to onboarding, the onboarder's main focus is to mentor this person, but doesn't mean that the recruiter that found them could not mentor them here and there, or you just have a conversation with them how they're doing. And I
Yeah.
think since they just did that, they're like, all right, it's not my problem, it's their issue, and they took it on that
Yeah.
way.
Well, and two, I think it's also the framework behind it, the building block. I think that that model could have worked very, very well. I think that you could have had like a I don't know, maybe there's a hybrid model of that what they call them sourcers and
Hmm.
onboarders, right? The
Yeah.
hybrid kind of deal there. Whereas you have those guys kind of interchangeable, right? Because your sources and onboarders are going to traditionally be your people that are the most outgoing. They want to build the team. They want to talk to people all the time. Then you got your people in the middle that do the paperwork, right?
Hmm.
So the people in the middle doing paperwork traditionally, like we always had that person in an office. There was somebody that they weren't really good at talking to people, but they could put paperwork together like no get out, which is a super vital part to this process. If you
Yeah.
can't, do that good, then it holds up progress. So I think if they had found a way to kind of interchange those two, right, to where even if it's a quarter here and a quarter there, and they're kind of interchanging. If you know that you're going out to talk to people and you're doing the debt management part of it, it's almost the same thing because you're still trying to get referrals, right? Maybe it could have been the future sailor comes in and gives a referral, then the onboarder sources the person and interviews them and sends them to that pillar. And if the person on the front side, something, I just think,
Like I said, communication wise, the
yeah,
organization that was in there and made to be a main focus to get all of the three pillars working together since the get go, I think it would have worked very well.
yeah,
But I think still COVID, regardless if it was working well or not, it's hit the whole country.
hmm,
So even the people that were still not doing this weren't making go. So I think
yeah. I think that's because of planes aren't going to fly because of what you're worried about, like as
the
far as being
kids were
in
like
debt.
scared as well.
Yeah, debt meetings, got to be apart, got to wear this mask. Now you're going to go to boot camp around all these people. What are we going to do? And it doesn't matter what model you were in, you were gonna
Yes,
struggle through
exactly.
that. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I just thought it was interesting, like because they were in the process of changing to that when I was leaving, and I knew that who was there was prepared to do it. Like the talks about it were going on for a long time before they even
Hmm.
talked about us going that route. So I knew that it was going to go okay. But I just hear everybody that I know all over the place is saying that it's like a struggle, and they say the struggle is what you just said. Like these guys go out and they do an appointment and they do an interview, and they say, "Yep, he's good." Send him over to the processing people, and then from that appointment interview to the processing person, if that warm handoff doesn't happen, this guy's like, all I had to do was do the appointment and the interview. It's not my fault they
Yeah.
didn't show up to do paperwork or vice versa. And so, like you said, they has to be like that mechanism for people to work together in that to be able to make it successful. And so again, I tie all that into this whole long story about how that stuff works to like that for me personally has been like my greatest struggle and outside of the Navy, because outside of the Navy, that's really how it operates, right? You got a whole group of people doing a whole bunch of stuff, and it feels like you're walking into New York for the first time when you come out of the Navy and go into that world, because you're like, this is overwhelming. Like, who's the one
Yeah.
person I need to call and talk to? And they're like, no, you can call this guy or that guy or this guy. And I'm like, well, who knows the answer? They all know the answer. And I'm trying to figure out how three people all know the same answer. They don't work in the same place, but they know what's going on. And probably 80% of the time, they know the answer. All three of them.
Yeah.
And however they've set that up, it works well. So I think maybe there should, it. That's why I say for me that was kind of a struggle. For guys like you that are coming in and have seen this firsthand, I think you guys are set up for ultra success. But yeah,
So I
man.
did two parts of the three. I did the onboarding for over a year or a little bit under a year, and then I did the paperwork side at MEPS. And to me, onboarding was the most difficult one. I didn't do sourcing, but I don't think it's that hard to find people and just hand them over.
Yeah, I
The
think.
hard
Why
part
do you
is to
think
keep them
onboarding was the hardest
convinced.
part?
So onboarding to me, when I had first took it over, it was myself and Chief Garza, in charge of it. At the time, he was an NC1, and we were in charge of 4 stations, just us two. And each station had between 20 to 50 future sailors. So we had sometimes 150 to 175 people that were managing for 2 people. And when they brought up the system, they said it was 25 per person. So that 150, 175 between 2 people was a big thing.
Sure. Because if
Um,
you look traditionally in a recruiting station of a 4-man station back when we were in the normal route of it,
mhm,
you might have had 25 or 30 future sailors, but if you had 3 recruiters, each of them had maybe 10. The management of that was the LPO and the recruiter could manage together. So although the LPO had 40 or 30, right, he really only had to worry about 10 at a time. And then in some cases, the 6 that were shipping this month, right? Like it wasn't a
exactly.
huge number, but 125 to 150 a piece. You work 7 days a week, man.
Exactly. So we were working, and then they wanted us to work on Saturdays. And then at one point, the sword string team would help us to take them to the hotel. Then it was hard on them to find people. So then they're like, okay, we don't have time for that. That we were going to have to start doing it. And it became a big old issue because 2 people managing, we'll say 140, um, that's still 70 apiece.
Yeah.
And then every month we're shipping between 20 to 35 people.
Yeah,
So
that's it's just it doesn't fit well because
it
there's
doesn't add
no.
up the way it should
Yeah,
have
yeah,
been done. And then after I went to the pillar where it's just all the paperwork when they're putting in the Navy, that's when they finally changed the system and they put one onboarder per station. Now that made sense.
yeah,
So at the beginning, the onboarding stage was very, very difficult. We had to be very organized, make sure all the paperwork that's getting done is done, making sure they have all their documents, make sure everything they're supposed to have they have their social ID and so on, so we don't have no hiccups when it's time to ship. So
yeah. I think the biggest issue with looking at stuff like that is it sounds like a great idea, right? And at the end of the day, I think the key term you made there is you and another NC1 who ultimately became a chief, right? So
yeah.
we look at this NC1 as he should be a chief petty officer. He acts in that manner. He's got the same abilities. So 2 chiefs should be
Hmm.
able to handle it, right? There's a huge difference in running a division of 140 people on a boat or on the ship or in the squadron where they got to come to work in the same place every day. I can manage
Hmm.
those 140 people.
Yeah.
I don't think they really looked at the fact that, hey, I got to manage 140 people. And oh, by the way, they go from Pasadena to Humble to Channelview to Katy. Like, when do you want like 2 people? Like, there's no way. And if
Exactly.
they're all spread out like that, it's hard. Now, having one onboarder per station makes sense because at that point, uh, it's just another sailor for the LPO to manage, right? He only has one guy now to come to worry about debt management, and everybody else goes and finds the people to join. I think if you set a recruiting station up in a pillar, right? I think that
Hmm.
would have been something that could have been ideal because let's be real, we did that already for a long time in the old model. Like you had that one guy we said it already earlier. That one guy was really good at doing kits. This other guy, he
We did.
related to future sailors, so we let him run the debt meetings. Then you had 2 rock stars that love to talk to people, and they would just bring him in the office like crazy. Like we were already kind of,
Exactly.
and I think that might have been where they developed this whole idea. These guys that seen how when their divisions ran and how they ran stations at work. I think it's a great model for an office. But
Exactly.
when you
And they're
scale
when they're
that,
communicating and they're being
yeah,
organized, it works perfect.
yeah. But
It's
to
just
scale it over a geographic area, and like Houston, let's look at it like this. Houston is probably an easier place to do this. Although you have so many more people, it's easier in Houston. Go to a place like Minneapolis.
yeah,
And now you got to
where
drive eight
everything's spread
hours just
out.
to go find
Exactly.
and talk to one person. If you're the onboard, I'm driving 8 hours to talk to you. then I'm driving 8 hours home. But you still have 30 other future sailors that are leaving in the next 90 days that you have to talk to face to face. Like, when do you want me to do it?
Yeah, but now we have FaceTime, so you don't gotta drive 8 hours somewhere.
Yeah, but come on, man. FaceTime, I
Yeah,
mean, FaceTime for what we're doing is good. We're basically FaceTiming right now. That's great.
exactly.
But if I'm trying to talk to you about changing your life and I'm trying to talk to you about, making a career of something and I need to make sure that you're really ready, I can't see those cues over a video.
It
Doing
could
FaceTime
happen.
was just a reason to say, "Hey, I saw them," and it was a good requirement. But mentorship, right? Like, I don't know. I guess in this, again, here's where I go. I'm an old guy. I've come into the civilian world and done some things where I see that people do coaching all the time over, Zoom and stuff like that. Like, you can hire
Yeah.
productivity coaches. But even there, I'm probably on the opposite end of the spectrum. I probably could use one and it would help. But all I see people tell me when they talk to a productivity coach is you need to call more people and set more appointments. Okay. Well, duh. That's the only way to be. I think I know that that's how I'm going to be successful, but I don't know. Like, help me with the other part of it, right? And so communication definitely works out well. So let's take that from there, right? You did all that stuff, and then they just demolished all your work and put it back to the old. You know that they had to switch it back because you were leaving, right? They couldn't survive if you weren't there, bro.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened.
That's exactly
Yeah.
what I would be saying, right? So now that you're on the tail end there, so what kind of things are you going to be getting into now that you're out?
I wasn't looking for a job per se. I was gonna take a few months off, um, and just be home, take care of all the things that I wanted to do at home, and take care of my little boy because he's only 3. But one day I went to something or my old command was doing. It's called a shock and awe, and all the new chiefs that made chief were going to be there. So I wanted to see them. So I went there, and I seen you there, and we talked. You told me a little bit about your job, and I said that was awesome. That's cool. I wish I can do that. And the person that could hire me was also there. Well, one of the people. So I wasn't looking for a job. I really wasn't. I was just having a conversation with him, and it was a good conversation about many different things, about my job, his job, about other things, sports, about just different things. And I was talking to him for a good 30 minutes, I say. Then he left, and then he just told me, send me your resume, and we'll see what we can do. So without even trying to find a job, I found a job. Um, I was blessed because I was not looking, and the only thing I wanted to do was I wanted to work at Amazon, but the job that I wanted required a bachelor's, and I only had an associate's. So when that shot me down, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just wait. I'll just wait till January. Um, this job that I recently got hired for after doing an exam and doing 4 interviews. I got hired last week. I don't need a bachelor's, thank God. And it's going to be doing things that I've been doing in the Navy for a minute. It's going to be a loan officer. Granted, no, I didn't give no loans in the Navy, but talking to people, building rapport with people, doing a whole bunch of paperwork. The job that I just got hired for, that's basically what I'll be doing now again. It's just instead of talking to people about the Navy and sending them to the Navy, I'll be talking to the people and organizing all the paperwork when they want a house loan. So it's not the same, but it kind of is. And so I did the interviews. I was told I did great, and I start next week. So I
It's
can't
amazing.
wait. Can't wait. It's a blessing.
Yeah.
Like I said, I wasn't even
So
looking, and it just happened to happen.
Look, here's how it works, man. So there's been a couple of guys that I was in with, and there's just like you, Gil. You're a guy that, like, you're an honest guy. You work your butt off. You don't you don't pull excuses for what you can't get done. If it can't get done, you'll tell somebody you can't get it done. The integrity by which you do things is it's one of the best I've ever seen. And there's a couple of guys I've worked with like that that I know you're getting out. I've already got out, and it was pretty eye opening. I had a bachelor's degree coming out of the Navy, right? I had all this recruiting experience. I had senior C suite level leadership experience, if you want to call it that, working up in the command area as the trainer, all these things. Still struggled to find a job. I don't know how all these other guys found Amazon so quick. Amazon must have decided they wanted to hire all the Navy recruiters because there's a ton of people going there.
Yes, there is.
However, here's what I'll tell you. This is why I wanted to help you to get to where we're at, right? The first reason, we specialize in helping veterans. Number one,
Hmm.
period. That's our target market, right? That's who we want to talk to. Not enough people help veterans use their VA home loan benefits. So a lot of times we see people that are talked into other mortgage products. It's infuriating, and we want to fix that. So that's why we do what we do. The other part of that is it's great to go work for a company. I'm going to give you the life according to Matt, right? This is just me. I did all the job searching, I tried to find places, I did all the interviews. I kept getting told that I did amazing on the interview. I'm just not the right fit. I'm not the right fit. Why? I really believe we a lot are told that we're not the right fit. And this is my belief. People probably that hear these things, and every time I've said it a few times in a couple of podcasts, they probably go, that guy's full of crap. But this is what I believe. I believe we're a threat to the person that's hiring us. Not because I know the industry you're in way better than you, but I just sat in here and did an interview, and you put me through a whole bunch of situations where I have to determine how to handle it, what's the professional way to do it. If it's a personnel problem, I don't immediately go to firing the guy. Let's work it out. Let's talk to them. Let's Something could be going on at home, something could be wrong in their life. And so I'm giving you all the corporate textbook answers that you're trying to teach your corporate leadership, because that's what I was trained to do in the Navy. I was trained as a chief petty officer to take care of people and make sure that they came, like, their well-being, it comes first, right? Like, make sure they're good. If they're good, we're all good.
The
Um,
civilian world is more like you're not fitting, fired, and we couldn't do that. We had to find out
right.
what's really going on and
So
fix that.
that's why I think they're like, oh, this guy coming in is going to be a threat to my job, because I'm not just going to get rid of you if you don't fit. You could still fit. Like, we could figure it out. Like, the immediate answer isn't to just let it go. So I worked a couple places. I finally found a couple jobs. I worked a couple places, bro. I liked the job, right? I liked the job. I didn't like the structure, dude. For me, it was the structure. It was how we went about doing things. It was the approach that we took to things. And I was like, my goodness, man. I took an entry level job because I needed a job, and I'm like, I can't do it. So then I went out and I opened my own business. I did real estate for a while, and now I'm doing the mortgage loan thing. But what I
Hmm.
love about those two jobs, and the reason why I wanted to help get you there, it's your own business, man. Meaning I can grow this to be as big as I want. I can reach out to affect as many people as I want. Granted, I have people that I talk to, and you answer to. You're always going to have somebody to answer to. But I really feel like I'm on a team of people that have the same thing in mind. I feel like I'm back in the Navy again, working on the team I'm on, because we all have the same
Majority,
goal.
and all of them are veterans
Yeah, and we're all
that
veterans,
think
but we
just
all
and think
help each
just like
other.
exactly. And we all think alike, do things alike, and
Yep.
it's just way easier to work with people that you're already used to, even if it's not the same branch. Doesn't matter. It's we're all taught almost the same things, no matter what branch you're in,
Yeah.
and it's much easier to work with people like us than people in the civilian world that, like you say, is like it's not working out. We just gotta let you go instead of
And
figuring
I
out
just think
why it's
it's
not working out.
Well, the communication there, if you think about it, it's really difficult in today's world to really tell somebody why they're not good. That's just the reality of the way it is. If I tell you that you're just not going to be a fit here, you don't fit what we're doing, you just don't get it, I could be in trouble because I said that. And I'm not being mean. I'm just saying what we're doing here, you're just not good at doing it. It's just not going to work out. And so I think a lot of times that's what you find. Like the communication is difficult for them. But for me, it's difficult because I got taught to communicate a different way, right? We got taught to communicate directly to people and let them know like what we see, what the problem is, and sit down and let's figure it out. So that's why when I knew we probably had an opening, and when you sat there and were like, "Oh man, I would do that," I remember going, "You would?" You're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Hold on a second. Hey, you need to interview this guy over here. He wants to be, and it boom,
Yeah,
it just goes like that. So I just, I just want to work with good people, dude. That's the bottom line. And I know that you're
because
a good fit because I know what you're capable of. And it
and the weird part, I mean, at the end of the day, you made us talk, and you were the main one that the reason I got this job. But I was not even going that day to the shock and awe because I thought I already had missed it. I thought it was gonna be in HQ. One of my friends came by my house. They're like, "No, it's not gonna be till 2." And I asked my wife, "Hey, I'm gonna head over there. Can you take care of my son?" And she's like, "Yeah, go ahead." So I went, and the person that hired me, he also told me, "I'm not even working today. I just came because Matt told me there's gonna be some Chiefs here, and I just wanted to see what's going on." But if that wasn't the case, I was not gonna be here either. So you bridged us, but him and I not supposed to be in there in the first place, and we both end up being there. I was like, man, it was awesome. I just
was
couldn't
destiny,
believe it.
man. It's
It
destiny. It was meant
was
to be.
exactly. I was just grateful, and I don't know. Ever since that day, I was like, man, I'm just a lucky person.
You know, if you don't have luck in the world, then you don't have anything at all. Like just think about it. Everything. So yeah. Let's call it luck, right? It's luck. It is coincidental luck that you weren't going to come and you went that day. It was coincidental luck that he wasn't going to be there that day, but he did come. But here's the reality, bro. You had to go get it though. Just because you talked to the guy for 5 minutes, you still had to go get the job. And because you are who you are, after the first couple of interviews, man, I'm guaranteeing these guys were like, these other three are just a formality.
The test. I was like, man, it should be crazy if I don't pass this test.
it's dude. So were you a Vince Young or an Aaron Rodgers? I gotta know. It's the Wonderlic test,
But
bro.
I know, but I've never done anything like that.
Yeah, no.
So I even Googled it, and I seen a video of a person teaching it, and everything he put on there, none of it was on the test. Like all the stuff that he went through was hard. Like, oh, I was like, man, there's no way I know this. Like it was, he explained it, and I was like, oh, okay, makes sense. Now if I see it, I will know how to do it.
Yeah,
But
but
some of the stuff he was explaining, I was
yeah,
like, what? I was like, I
this
don't even
test is
get
not
it.
designed to prepare for. You can't prepare for it. It's going to be different every time. All it does is it links like so obviously, right? We have to build rapport with people. We have to talk to people. We have to make sure they understand what they're getting, and we're doing a form of sales. We are. You have to be
That part
compatible
was
with that.
easy. It was the first 12 minutes of the test, which was English and math and shapes and different things like that. That
Nah,
was
they
the
don't
part
care
I was
about
worried
that. As
about.
long as you can talk to people, they're good. The computer does all the math.
And then he told me you got 50 questions and 12 minutes to do it. And he's like, don't worry, nobody really ever finishes. So I was like, well, I'm going to try to finish it. But once I started doing it, I think I got to question 23 or 24, and my 12 minutes were up. I was like, damn. So it was much harder than I thought, but not as hard as that guy meant. The video that I seen, he made it
Mm.
seem like it was way hard. I think I would have finished the whole test if I had another 8 minutes. I think, but who
Yeah,
knows?
I
12 minutes is hard to finish 50 questions. Either you
yeah,
know it
for
or you
sure.
don't.
I think that for all of that, I coming out of the Navy, I had to take a few of these tests. You know, and I just was like, I could go look up how this thing works. Oh, screw it, man. I'm just gonna go take it. Like I don't even want to know what's gonna be bad or good. I'm just gonna go take the thing, right? And I took that one that you took, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm an idiot, right? Like
The
I'm
first
dumb.
12.
Yeah.
Do you remember the number that you got to?
No, I probably didn't even get that far because I was really trying. See, I didn't do the prep that you did. I just went in like, all right, I'm gonna take this test. You got to do it real quick. Got it. I'm good. And then like it cuts out. You're like, dude, I don't even think I got a quarter of the way through this thing. Like, what's going on? But
It
they said
was.
I did okay. So I'm here. I'm I'm able to work, and that's good. But yeah, man, I was really happy to hear that they talked to you and you were able to be a part of what we're doing because it's definitely building big. I mean, just imagine in Houston alone, this is a place. Houston is a place where veterans like to settle down. I mean, Texas in general, but Houston is just one of those places. I mean, they got great schools and you know, it's close to the Gulf. It's close to going like into San Antonio and going to Louisiana, and you can fly out to pretty much anywhere in the country in a couple of hours from Houston. You know, people like to relocate here, and
Yeah.
there's a ton of them are veterans, and so the fact that we've got a core team of people down here now that are veterans that we can actually uh, you know, help people with, that's going to be huge, man. And I think that, you know, the sky's the limit for you, dude. It's going to be a good time. I
Oh,
can't wait to
can't
work with
wait.
you again. And I can't wait to do it in a manner where, although there's rules, we're not under
Yeah,
the same rules, right? Just think about it.
exactly.
When we were in the Navy, would we be able to do this?
No, because it was especially if let's say I was a first class and you were a chief or senior chief, it would have been different. And
Yeah.
if me and you just met at this job, you could have been a master chief, I could have been a second class, and if we're doing the same job, it doesn't even matter. Like we can still
Yep.
build a relationship. We can do stuff because rank is out the window. It's way
Well,
different.
not only that, but now it's okay for me to build my brand of who I
Hmm.
am. It's okay for me to now use all the tools that the Navy gave me, which are all super invaluable. Everything that I learned in leadership and work ethic and you know organize anything like it all applies when you're out now. And as long as you can apply all that, you're good. Like, look, dude, let me tell you everything I learned in the Navy, right? You ready for this? Ready?
Yeah, that's a
That's how
piece
I
of
plan
paper.
my day, bro.
You're still using that?
Somebody's gonna see that on this and go, "Oh my!" And they're gonna get like chills, right? Because they're gonna see that old school desk planner. I had an old one, and my wife helped me make a copy of it. Like, dude, I still write this stuff on a planner, like I learned way back.
You should
Like, I
just get a
can't do the
main
computer
one
one, dude.
and put a transparent film so you can just write over and erase it, right?
No,
And
bro,
just
I've
keep
got
that
my
one.
file folder down here with all my closed out planners. You want to, dude? I'm telling you, it's crazy. It's just what I learned. It helps though. It helps me. But yeah, but now I can go forward
Yeah.
and help people the way that I want to, right? There's no more asking like you not
But
to be
remember
in
when
a
I told
specifics, but
remember I told you a little while ago, being organized. That's what you are. You're organized, and that's going to take people a long way when you're organized, and especially if your network communication is good. I mean, sky's the limit. I mean,
oh, for sure, for sure. But
being
and that's the other
organized.
reason, right? Now it's time for us to take it bigger and help people because we're not just
Hmm.
doing it in Houston. Houston is a great opportunity, but we get to help people all over the country, and
Yeah,
that's the cool part. There's a difference in you know being hyper local to where you're at and making that difference. I think the opportunity to make it a difference everywhere is really good. Get to work with really good people. Got a company that really you know invests in veterans, which is really great,
it
and
is.
they want us to succeed because they want veterans to be able to use the benefit that they've earned. So it's good
Yeah,
stuff, man. It's really definitely it's an exciting time over the horizon. Like I
It
can't wait for you to
is.
get started. I can't wait for you to get started doing all these classes and calling me talking
I,
about
I,
really like what is all this stuff?
I can't wait till I pass a test. That's what I can't
For
wait for.
sure,
Once I
for
pass a
sure.
test, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm in, and then I can start hustling.
All right. So this thing is going to probably go up in a week, right? In
Hmm.
a week. So today is game 1 of the World Series. We already know that
Yes.
you hate the Astros, so
Whoa. Astros are number one, and they're gonna take it. I don't know if it's gonna be a sweep. It's gonna be hard to sweep the Braves,
okay.
but
So
I will say
today,
five at the latest 6 games.
well, we need a prediction. It can't be
I'll
5 at
say
the latest
five.
6 because we would
I'll
lose
say
money at
five.
Vegas. They don't give that
I'll
bet.
I'll say 5 games. They're only gonna beat us once, and it sucks
So what
because
you're saying is
I
they're going to
wish
win it
they
on the road.
exactly, and that's the only sucky part. I wish they won it here, but I don't think they're even gonna make it to Game 6.
Mm.
Well, we're gonna win the two here. We're gonna win. Probably the third
Two of
game is
3 in
when we
Atlanta.
lose. I think we'll lose the third game, and then we'll lose. I mean, we're gonna win the fourth and the fifth.
All right, I'm earmarking this because we can do like I'm a Facebook Live man. If Instagram, TV, whatever it is, if it doesn't
Uh-huh.
work out, I'm just gonna hit that like Gil for real. Like what happened?
That's exactly what's gonna happen,
Okay,
and it sucks because I wish they came home and won it. It'll be a better feeling,
okay. So let's
but
go to
my
the
gut's
closeout
telling me
game in
Game
Atlanta.
Five.
Let's
I
go to the
think it's gonna be
closeout game
close.
in Atlanta. You ready?
Uh-huh.
Let's
Yep.
go.
Oh, you want to go to it? So I'll try to buy tickets here,
Oh no
and
no! Don't even tell anybody how much they cost.
standing
700 bucks.
room was 600, which is ridiculous. I was like,
Yeah.
just to get in the gate,
I
you're gonna
should have
charge
gone to the
600.
ALCS. I could have got that ticket for like
I know
150
it was 100
bucks.
and something bucks because I looked at it too, and I was
I
gonna
know.
go, and I was like, ah, I,
I could go
I
to the World
thought,
Series.
yeah. And then once I seen the tickets, I was like, holy moly.
Yeah.
That is a lot of money. And then to get nosebleeds, they're going for 600 to 800, which that's just ridiculous. I
Yeah,
rather
yeah.
just get the
So
standing
my
room.
my front row ticket at my house is enough for me. I'm good. I'm good.
So I watch it inside the house, and then I got a TV outside. So then I go outside, then I come inside, then I go outside, and then
I
I'm
just watch it on the
pacing
couch,
back and
man.
forth. It's just
So
crazy.
you're a pacer.
I'm a pacer,
You're
especially
running
if
the
it's a
bases
close
during the
game.
game.
It's especially like that last game that we were playing Boston. It was 1-0. And
I
I was like,
know.
man, I was like, one home run can change the whole game. They can be either tied or it can be 3-1, 4-1. And once we got the second run, I felt a little bit more comfortable. My wife was outside watching the game with me, and I told her, this is not good enough. We need to score at least 2 more runs to be safe.
Mm-hmm.
And we ended up hitting a 3-run home run. It was 5-0, and they just never scored.
I know.
I don't know what's wrong
Losers.
with your team.
I don't know, man. I was super happy.
Maybe
Dude,
you should start coach.
I was talking mad trash though after game 2 and 3. I was like, bro, we're gonna hit a grand slam every game. Like,
Oh man, I wish I would
I
have
was doing the
knew you're a
whole
Boston
Boston thing,
fan.
bro.
I never knew you were a Boston
Yeah,
fan.
I waited
I
till today to
wish I would
tell
have
you.
knew.
I waited till today. There's always next year.
Oh, I would have been texting you daily,
No, see, that's
daily.
why I didn't. I don't listen, man. You're gonna find this out soon. You ain't gonna have time to be doing all that text messaging garbage. We got stuff to do.
Well, I'll be there on Monday
Okay.
at the VFW.
Well, I will see you. Well,
I'll be there
thanks for taking the time. I'm glad we got to
for sure.
introduce you to the masses. All 100 air followers that we have right now. So make sure you let
Oh,
everybody know
nice.
you was on this thing. We got to push it out there. Everybody needs to
Will
know.
do. Will
Um,
do.
but yeah, man, you need anything, you let me know. As always, can't wait to continue to work with you and